27th. We do have a quorum, correct? Now if we'd all stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, approval of the September 29th minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, unfinished business, nothing. Is that correct, Mike?
Correct.
All right, new business, capital budget, Mike Entz.
All right, thank you. In your packet this evening is the 2023 capital budget and also the city's 5-year plan. Annually, our department, along with every department, we have several budget cycles that we go through. The big one is the annual budget, which is our labor and operating costs. That allows the different departments to operate every year. The other larger budget is the capital budget. Capital budgets, those funds, the majority of the time, those funds are borrowed monies. Every year, the amount that is borrowed fluctuates a little bit. Some years, like this year, I think we're at $3 million, plus we had some carryover from last year. Plus, the city is also using American Rescue Plan funds, so basically some of the federal stimulus money to fund some of the projects that are out there. The capital budget, again, is for those larger capital improvement projects, building new roads, or not new roads, reconstructing our current roads, buying fire trucks, garbage trucks, plow trucks, new roof for their library, things like that. So the larger project, the larger cost items that the operating labor budget would not be able to address on an annual basis. So for us this year, the majority of our projects, it is borrowed funds, with the exception of the some of the funding for the beach house parking lot is the remaining funds from the sale of the Mutual Mall. We use some of that money from the sale of the Mutual Mall to construct our new beach house. So that is the largest project that we're going to see for next year, is that new parking lot behind our new beach house. It's going to be a 50-stall parking lot with driveway, sidewalk access from the current parking lot to the building, make it a little bit easier, safer for our customers approaching the beach house or the swim pond, things like that. Our goal right now is to have that parking lot 100% completed and operational by June 1 of next year. After the contractor's done, our staff will go in and take care of restoration and things like that. So we need to get that parking lot done before the swim season. That construction will impact some of our earlier, smaller special events, but regular's a busy place to do any major project. We're going to interrupt someone. So also for next year, we have scheduled $113,000 for resurfacing the existing beach house parking lot. That parking lot, I couldn't even tell you how old it is. During the construction of the beach house last year, that parking lot did take a beating. And the one aspect that really took a toll on that lot was the asphalting around the new beach house. I think it's almost a guarantee that we would destroy that lot this next year while we're building the new lot. So, which it kind of goes hand in hand. We can construct a new lot, resurface that existing lot, and then we also had $30,000 in here for patching, sealing, and painting the entrance exit drive off of Park Avenue. So asphalting's not real exciting. You know, we're very fortunate. Our donors supported the beach house project with $1.4 million in donations, which is crazy impressive. It's nice that we're able to get some borrowed funds, Mutual Mall funds, to kind of finish the beach house project with the new parking lot, resurface the existing lot, and do some of that maintenance on that end of the property. So that'll be, again, asphalt's not exciting, but to me, it'd be pretty exciting to kind of get those items addressed. Another item in our capital budget for next year is $20,000 for our continued street tree planting program. We still have vacant planting sites left over from Emerald Ash Borer, and some of these locations for next year are also road construction sites. So example is like Laurel Drive North was reconstructed this year. Prior to a road construction project, our staff goes in, we evaluate the trees on the road. With the new road construction, a lot of times we have to remove some things like that. We'll use these funds and then go back in there after the road construction to replant some of those vacancies. So that's the $20,000 for the street tree planting. And then we also have $30,000 in this budget to continue the renovation to the camp lodge. Several years ago, we received some capital funds just like this, and we remodeled the kitchen and the restrooms in the camp lodge and a new roof at that point in time. We would like to continue with that process. This $30,000, we would look at exterior items, siding, windows, and hopefully some work on the main room, and then possibly finish up the entire project in 2024. So again, somewhat of a larger renovation project, around $100,000. A lot of times we don't get the whole funding at one time, but if we can piece it out to upgrade that building, that would be great. It's a very popular rental for us, very popular. And the kitchen and restroom renovations that we did, our customers love it. We just need to keep going with the renovations to that building. So also with your packet, any questions on 2023 capital budget? Yes, sir.
Which one?
I noticed the Bicentennial Park wasn't on there. Is that going to be the following year?
Bicentennial Park is actually 2022 money. And so with us finally getting a park project manager and all that stuff, we are in the process of ordering that playground. We've met with one of the neighbors already, but we're going to schedule that neighborhood meeting. We'll probably do it right after the first of the year or something like that. But we are looking at a new Bicentennial Park playground in 2023, utilizing the 2022 funds. So that project kind of sat all year until we could get, someone in-house to take care of that. So, yep.
My question is to the asphalt prices. Are these hard numbers? I mean, it's $450,000. I'm not an expert on asphalt, but
Sure.
it seems like a lot of money. Has that been quoted out, or does that have to go to court?
We still have to go out to bid, but the fortunate thing is to generate these budget numbers, Mike, we already did go out to bid when we did the project, the beach house project. So we put all the specs together and we got numbers that way. The one problem with that part of Regner Park is all the organic material. So we're gonna have to excavate down 3 to 4 feet for this parking lot. We can't go down the standard 12 inches, put some gravel down, some asphalt, be done. If we were talking whatever, Vine Street parking lot across the road, would be a completely different story, but we have to completely over excavate that entire site. We did the same thing for the asphalt around the new building, and even like the south patio, that whole south patio out there. Our soil borings told us that we would need to go down 12 feet to find decent material.
Come on.
Yeah, because it's all, that was an old swamp.
Well, I know,
Yep.
that's
So-
a problem.
So like that south patio, we went down 4 feet. We put our fabric down, some 3-inch wood fines. We start building that up to our grade. So we have to do the same thing for this parking
I
lot.
mean, I'm all for it, don't get me
Yep.
wrong, but I've been hearing cement's going out of the very high,
Yep.
asphalt, all of a sudden, if it turns to be $600,000.
Then we would have to scrub the project. So,
Okay.
yep,
Okay.
yep. So, no, so we were fortunate, because we basically bid it all. When we did the beach house, we had a base bid and then we had 5 alternates. And we did the base bid and 4 of the alternates. The 5th one was the parking lot. We just didn't have funding for it. So we were fortunate that way. We already had the soil borings done, the specifications done, all the engineering done. We went out for bid. We just didn't have money. We didn't award that portion of the contract. So at least we had that for budget reasons. We had those numbers. We're also hoping with this parking lot, the beach house parking lot, we're going to combine the new one, the existing one, and even the maintenance of the driveway all into one contract. Part of the city's capital budget for next year is redoing the Vine Street parking lot over here. We're going to look at combining both of those, our parking lot in Regner, or I'll say parking lots, and this one into one contract. A lot of the specifications will be the same. The biggest thing for ours is just going to be the June 1 timeline. I don't know about this one over here and whatever, but hopefully that way also we can,
makes
we can get
sense.
some better pricing and things
Makes
like
sense.
that. It would be a little more of a challenge if we'd want to take a parking lot project with the deadlines that we have with a road project, because those road projects could go 120 days and end up in August and things like that. So we want to get those parking lots done before June 1. And once we get them done, then we can increase the cost for the rentals over at the beach house, so.
Okay.
Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll go on to the 5-year budget a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Also in your packet, so we have the capital budget, and then we have the 5-year budget. And again, this is not just for Park Rec Forestry. What's in there is streets and IT and fire department and everything else. So I'm just gonna hit some of the highlights for the 5-year budget that we have out there. One item that's overdue and pending is our park and open space plan. Right now, the city's working on the city's comp plan. When that is finished, then we can start working on our park and open space plan. This commission will be involved with that process. Other items on our 5-year budget, the replacement of Villa Park Playground, that turned 30 years old this year. We're hoping for 2024 for that. Some asphalt replacement, again, around the south side of the swim pond in Regner Park. That pathway's been somewhat damaged with enchantment in the park. It was never designed to be a driveway, but it has turned into that. Mink play lots in there, this year turned 31 years old. That's another one needs to come out. So we have a lot of infrastructure items, I'll say, in that 5-year budget. One item that's out there, and I kind of brought it up closer to the top, is the skate park. The skate park we have, that equipment is, off the top of my head, 20 years old. Probably should have been replaced some years ago. We've had it was started at the YMCA, went into storage, went over to Barton Park, went into storage, now it's in a parking lot. And we put it where it's at now as a temporary location, and it's been temporary for many years, several years. So our neighbors in that area have been very patient with us in that skate park. I think their patience are running out, and I don't blame them. So, again, another potential fundraiser, sure it could be, but we have lots of other fundraisers out there maybe ahead of this or with this, so. So those are just some of the highlights. With the capital budget also, one last item. It includes our equipment fleet, like for down with Dan and the guys out at the shop. So we have 1-ton dump trucks that are out there, pickup trucks that are out there that are 23, 24, 25 years old. So some of those items are gonna need to be replaced. This year, as I've already mentioned, we're doing some major asphalt projects in Regner Park with our capital funds. Next year, we're gonna have to maybe focus a little bit of our energy back towards our equipment and our fleet replacement. We can't maintain our properties if the guys don't have the equipment to do it, so. And even with our equipment, right now we're using a 1988 dump truck. We keep it alive. We're waiting for Public Works to get one of their trucks replaced, and then we get one of theirs. So we do a lot of that also. We don't just look for brand new trucks and this and that. Some of our equipment needs to be new equipment. Some of it, like a plow truck or something like that, when Public Works is done with one, we can use it, so we try and look at those other avenues, so. And one thing we will ask, because we're gonna work on the 2024 budget early next year, March, April, we're probably gonna ask the commission for some feedback as far as future projects and maybe what your priorities might be, so.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure can.
Emerald Ash Borer, I see the dropping off in the 5-year plan. Do you see that someday we won't have any costs with that?
Ultimately, all of our ash street trees are down and park trees, not woodlots, not marshes and all that stuff. So all the ash in the high-use areas are gone. So the majority of the people that wanted trees replaced, we've replaced those trees. So our planting contract, we were up to like 380 some trees at one point in time. We're kind of weaning that down. I think we're going to be 200 and some trees this year. So people still want trees planted. They want a lot of our maple trees are dying, things like that. So as they go, we're gonna, keep replacing them. And the road construction projects, those trees are very popular with our customers because we show up, we cut down a bunch of the trees in our neighborhood. They went 120 days with the front of their house under construction. The street trees are kind of a finishing touch. So filling some of those vacancies with that planting contract is important. But emerald ash borer replacement, we're almost done. Yeah.
Any other questions for Mike? Okay, we don't need to, this is just, okay, sounds good. Thank you, Carolyn. Next is Lawrann Conservancy, annual report, Courtney.
Hello. So I just wanted to prepare a report tonight, just kind of to touch base on some projects in the last year. Some might be ones that you're already familiar with, some might be some new ones, but I always feel like showing some pictures kind of put a good idea in your mind of what's been going on out there. So last January, we harvested the remaining pine plantation pines. We have about 15% of the pines left, but in April of this year, we planted 50 trees that was remaining funds through the GOAT grant that we had with Seawisk. So if you haven't been out yet to see the pine plantation in the last almost year, this is just kind of some shots of when the trees were harvested there. There's like a little speck of me in the middle, kind of giving you a reference of how tall the stacks were. And this project's just going to be kind of ongoing for the next probably couple years. We're transitioning prairie into the pine plantation, and we're doing brush mowing, treating with pesticides. So right now, if you are out there, it might look a little bit kind of like a war zone, but it's a work in progress, and we've come a long way thus far. The QR code project, that's, a 2-year-long project, but that's been ongoing. We have some new codes out there. So again, if you're out at the Conservancy, keep your eyes peeled for those on the trail signs. This was last fall. You can see the leaves changing, so exactly a year ago. The Kiwanis Early Risers, through a grant, funded so that we could put these new steps in near the Marin Center, down to the Lake Loop Trail. And then, again, you can see in the fall, the Lake Loop Trail, we stoned that. It took about 2 weeks with volunteers and staff's assistance, and it turned out outstanding. It's covered all the roots, and lots of compliments on how that turned out. This past April, we had a prairie burn for the first time. I think it was 3 years. And first one I got to participate in, and it was really nice. And again, if you haven't been out, it's really helped our prairie. It looks so much better. It burned so many invasives. The buckthorn, the prairie, is like up above my head, which isn't hard because I'm short. But this is our new connector trail that also is outside the Marin Center. We closed 2 existing trails, and that's Luke, one of our park staff there, that's carrying these huge stones by hand. It looks wonderful. So right now when you're out there, the 2 existing trails are closed off, so you are kind of guided with these rocks there to take the new trail. 2 weeks ago, we just installed a kestrel nesting box in the prairie, and that was part of a partnership with Cedar Grove Ornithology Research Center. They reached out and asked if we would be interested in having a kestrel nesting box, and they will come out and monitor it for us. So absolutely, we are interested, and we're hoping this coming spring, a pair will come find it. And we installed 3 additional wood duck boxes. This shows some Girl Scouts that came and helped make those in the classroom there. So those are currently out on the property. And a really big project that we've been working on the last 4 months is our future spot for our nature playground, which is again outside the Marin Center near the shed area. And it's been an outstanding project where we've had volunteers every single month coming out, lots of youth groups, baseball groups, scouts, churches. It's been just a wonderful project. So when you're out there, definitely check, because you can see all the way down to the water now. So that will be something that's ongoing, and hopefully will begin in the spring is our goal. And I'm sure you guys all knew we had indoor observation beehive, which was super fun. This is just a photo showing with that grant, with the indoor hive, we were able to have field trips about beekeeping. We had a beekeeping class, and then I also was able to go off-site to schools and do summer programming for summer camps with the beekeeping equipment. So it was a really fun experience for the kids and parents. This was the second spring that we had our Raising Monarch class, and that's always been a popular one where families come out, they get all the equipment, we go out, we look for monarch eggs, and they learn the process of raising them from egg and releasing them. So that was another good turnout for this spring. And this past Saturday, we had our luminary walk, and we had a record-breaking attendance of 3,000 people attend, so that was pretty outstanding to witness. And just throwing out a thank you to all the volunteers that assisted with that. It was really cool to see. And our flower sale, this was back in May, but again, we had our record-breaking fundraising event for that year out of the 34 years we've had it. So that was pretty exciting also. I'm gonna just remain up here and go on to the next item about the sculpture donation. The West Bend Friends of Sculpture, they are presenting a donation of 2 sculptures, the Atomic and Double Dancer, to Lawrann. The West Bend Friends of Sculpture would like to retain the first right to reclaim the sculpture if at any time the city no longer wants to own these pieces. The Double Dancer, our placement proposal is outside of the LLC barn, and the Atomic, our placement proposal is outside the LLC farmhouse. And these donations were already brought to the LLC board for approval, and were approved, so we're looking to you guys now.
Question, or not a question, but kudos. My brother took his granddaughter to the luminary. He said he couldn't believe it, and the people parked up and down Schmidt Road, right? You had the parking lot full, Schmidt Road full. He said it was outstanding, so kudos to the job. Like you said, it was a record crowd, but really enjoyed it, okay?
Thank you.
Other questions for Courtney?
I would move to approve both sculpture donations.
Second.
Okay, got a motion, a second. Any other questions on it? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we have donations. Ryan and Mike.
All right. The first donation that we received is from Mike McGuire, who is a pickleball instructor. He donated $65 for the city's pickleball fund. So he ran a couple of clinics at Regner and Quas Creek throughout the summer, so just felt that he should make some financial donation for his time using our courts for that. The next one I have is a donation from the West Bend Friends of Parks and Recreation for $864. This amount was donated to offset the cost of supplying t-shirts to the participants in our Youth Flag Football League this year. So thank you to the Friends of Parks and Recreation for that. And the last donation that I have is from the Riverside Disc Golf group for a value of $1,070. They had donated new tee signs for the Riverside Disc Golf Course. So there were 19 total tee signs installed and an artist fee of $500. So thank you to the disc golf group for that.
I have 2 donations this evening. The first one was from various citizens for the All Abilities Playground development for $1,250. 900 of that was monetary donations, and 350 of that was for fence picket fundraisers. Those are the fence pickets for around the proposed playground. And the last donation for this evening is from former Mayor Mike Miller and his wonderful wife Alice. They decided they wanted to become beach bums, so they donated $1,000 towards the beach house project. So thank you to all those donors.
Outstanding. Okay, do we have a,
Move to approve the donations.
we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, reports. Chairman, as always, just want to say thank you, West Bend. All the people that donate money, help us out. We're very fortunate. We really are. So that's my 2 cents worth. Mike Weston, Secretary.
I'll just say, I go through Regner Park a lot, and the beach house is really rented a lot there was a wedding down there, there's a bridal shower, birthday parties, so it's neat to see that it's being used. And the Enchantment Park is being set up, so it's looking beautiful down there. So check it out.
Great. Quarterly Trust.
A couple items to note. The park fees acquisition, that's our park impact fees, that is still at $589,000. The $260,000 for Riverwalk Phase 4 has not been transferred out of that yet, so that's still in there. Also, I like to note we're coming towards the end of the year here, the dog park donations, so those are the fees that our users pay to use our dog park. That account is still at $47,600 and some dollars. That is that's one of Rick Fox's priorities for this winter, early next year's, again, to work with the volunteers out there and reestablish our priority list for out there and hopefully execute some additional projects with the volunteers out there. We had a pretty good plan going in place. COVID hit, things kind of slowed up. I'll say it kind of fell apart. Not having a project manager, this and that. So I want to make sure that we get back on track with that group and that funding, because come the first of the year, they start buying their annual fees again. That number's gonna go up dramatically. So, and again, those fees are used at the dog park. We can't or won't use those, for a different project anywhere else in the system. So,
Any other questions for Mike? Do we have to approve this? No? Okay, thank you. Recreation Supervisor, Ryan?
All right, so I'm going to start with kind of recapping and updating the Regner Beach lifeguarding campaign. So as a reminder, we had allocated the communications department $500 for advertising purposes. So that had concluded. The whole advertising campaign ran from September 19th through October 31st, or will conclude, early or soon. So of the $500, $150 of that was allocated towards YouTube ads. So YouTube varies slightly from Facebook and Instagram, because on YouTube you can target based on demographics, so age, location, certain interest, however YouTube figures that out. The YouTube portion of the campaign was seen 29,000 times, so pretty high amount of people seeing that. The remaining $350 of the budget was ran simultaneously on Facebook and Instagram. Like I said, on Facebook, everyone sees it. You can't target by 15 to 25-year-olds, so it's whatever algorithm happens, that's how they see it. Because we spent more money, it was seen significantly more than on YouTube, so that was seen just over 77,000 times by 24,000 people, and that also translated into about 2,200 visits to the city website. To update so far, I've received 19 applicants. They've submitted them. 10 of them are taking the lifeguarding course, which is beginning next Sunday. I additionally have one previous lifeguard or current lifeguard that's already hired, and one already certified lifeguard has a phone interview with me tomorrow. So trending in the right direction. Still working on finalizing the dates with the school for the 2023 courses, but I have a handful of kids that are on the waiting list, I guess, for that. Just need to get those dates finalized, and we're off and running there. Regner concessions equipment's been ordered, and it's slowly arriving piece by piece. I'm excited to get that going for kind of a test run during the less busy ice skating season compared to summer. So it'll be good to have the 2 months of ice skating to make sure that everything's set up in a way that makes sense and operating as it should. Earlier today, the internet was finished at Regner Park, so I'm being told that there should be Wi-Fi on an open network from the Parks and Forestry workshop basically to the beach house. So that got completed today after a lengthy battle of trying to get a contractor there to do his work, but it should be done, knock on wood. And because of the internet, I purchased a Square point of sale system. So in addition to cash, people at Regner for ice skating and at the beach next summer will be able to use credit and debit card as well. So it's going to be a nice asset for that building. So yeah, that'll definitely be up and running by the time ice skating begins, late December, early January, however the weather plays out. Youth and adult sports and programs are going well. Some have wrapped up already for the fall session. Winter session will start January for most things, swimming lessons as well. So have staff pretty much set for swimming lessons, just have to kind of do the training beforehand and should be good to go there. The next big thing for me is women's volleyball league. So I have the managers meeting right after this. Captain Craig over there. So we have 16 teams in it this year. I was kind of looking back, and that's the largest that we've had since 2017. So pretty solid numbers there at Milwaukee, Washington County. So excited for that to start. That's all I've got.
Question as always. What food items are you going to be selling at concessions? What are we looking at?
So for the winter, I'm probably not going to offer as much, but if we bump to summer 2023, I have a nacho cheese dispenser, hot dog roller, popcorn machine, pizza ovens were there before, and then one of the pretzel stand rotator things. I've decided to primarily be purchasing the food and beverage ice cream through Holiday Wholesale, so I'm kind of limited to what they have, but they do have a decent
Like ice cream bars and stuff like that?
Yep,
too,
yeah.
For the summer, what
yeah,
kids are
various
like.
ice cream things.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike and I had kind of talked about it. Mike Yench and I had kind of talked about it, and we're gonna probably keep the menu smaller year one and then expand if we see fit. So.
I do agree. See what they like and see what goes on. What
Right.
about sodas and water?
That would be Holiday Wholesale as
Okay,
well.
okay.
Yes. At this point, subject to change, but.
No. Sounds good. Any other questions for Ryan? Oh,
Lifeguards, did you contact the lifeguards that we lost last year? Those,
I had reached out to them. A handful of them didn't get back to me, and there are a couple that, for various reasons, didn't want to come back. But yeah, I know that between swim instructors, and lifeguards, I have 5, 6 potentially there. So.
good.
I'm happy to hear about the 19 applicants. I mean, that's going in the right direction, so doing the right things, I believe, so great. Any other questions? Courtney, are you all done or you got more to tell us?
I am done, but if you have any questions. But I'll answer questions if you have questions.
I don't know if you saw, Mike sent out an email for Rick and Dan. Do you have any questions for those, what he sent out the email? Sounds like they're working hard, so things are moving forward, right?
Yep, it's that time of the year for like Dan and the guys are closing down buildings and things like that and putting athletic fields to bed for the winter. And Rick's been working on his projects. And yeah,
So, no, perfect. Thank you.
good.
Last but not least, Mike Yentz, Director.
Oh, thank you. I just want to just kind of start off with thanking two of my coworkers, Ryan and Courtney, with the reports this evening. It's pretty evident that these two professionals are they're out ahead of the game. They're doing what they need to do. Ryan's doing an outstanding job putting a concessions area together. I'm very, very excited about the point of sale work that Ryan's doing under it'll be amazing. We can use credit cards and debit cards
I
in
love
Regner
that
Park,
idea.
so.
And that's young people, right there.
Yep. And, part of that is we needed, do we need a new building for that? But that's just part of the whole package, the whole Wi-Fi, everything else. But I think our customers expect that also a little bit. So I think that's something we need to do. But again, for Courtney with their programs, working with the volunteers, some days you might see Courtney with chainsaw chaps on, and the next day she's teaching in a school. So two outstanding professionals. We're very fortunate to have them on our staff. Staying with staff reports, Jackie Maynard has retired. Jackie Maynard retired recently after, 30 whatever years with the city of West Bend. So her and Dean are looking forward to a trip to Mexico and some other adventures together. So thank you for the many years, Jackie, for your efforts and your talents.
Good luck to her.
Yep. Back in August at the Park Commission tour, we stopped up in Barton off of Northwestern Ave. We talked about snowmobiling on the Eisenbahn Trail, things like that. We've been going back and forth between us, the Snowmobile Club, Washington County Parks and Planning, state of Wisconsin, because it's a state trail. The Snowmobile Club recently, like 2 days ago did meet with the county. They walked the bridge and the trail up there, and I think they've come to an agreement that the existing bridge is in fine shape, and we're going to hopefully, I'm probably guessing December meeting for commission, have this back before you folks, as far as permission to bring those snowmobiles into the city then. They would come down a trail, use that park area for parking. The club would keep the snowmobiles right along our asphalt Eisenbahn Trail. Our one little property down right along Commerce Street there, they would put a turnaround there for the sleds, things like that. They are very excited about it. District 7 is very excited about it. I think it's cool that if we can use that park property up there, that we kind of store logs on it, use it for some form of recreation. I think it's pretty cool. So, and my last item is the Riverwalk is moving along nicely. The large section of wall is up. Our company, Costa Wisconsin, is in staining painting. They should be done next week. Yankee General Contractors, because they had some time, they already started north of Washington Street on Phase 3. Phase 3 ultimately is not, they don't have to have it finished until June of 24. But they just want to push through this project, just get it all done sooner. And they also started working on the covered alley between the theater and who's ours downtown.
Corridor,
What's that?
covered corridor, isn't it?
Covered walkway.
Walkway.
It is now a walkway. So we've been asked to start changing it, just to, it's a lot of it's a mental perception, the covered alley to alley to alley. Nope, let's call it a walkway, an access point, things like that. So, but yeah, no, things are moving along good for the Riverwalk. So that's what I got.
Anybody else have questions for Mike? Anything else we need to discuss tonight? Well, if not, we are adjourned.
Thank you.